Morning, we're back here, about 5 weeks on. If you listened to what I said last time, you're in a position now to get on with some renovation. The weeds have been killed off, the feed's kicked in nice, it's time to scarify. So we're just having a quick walk over the lawn. See now that feed's really kicked in, although it does expose weed grasses as well, so that's the only problem when you give it a good feed. All the weed grasses take over. Now these will be from the birds that land on the trees up there, and then as they fly off they do a drop in and then it germinates, and this is what you end up with, a lawn full of weed grasses. Even ears come on a little bit, so we'll give this an extra good going over with the scarifier. Today we're just going to scarify. It's still too cold to seed at the moment. It's 1st of April and it's freezing. I've never been so cold this year as it is today or this week. Just been to the petrol station. And have you ever noticed at a petrol station it's always windy? No matter what petrol station you go to, it's always blowing a gale through it and it's absolutely freezing. Don't know why, but that's just one of life's mysteries as to why petrol stations are always windy. But getting back to the lawn, feed's kicked in really nice, so that's going to give us a good recovery once we've scarified. So we don't need to worry about feeding this now. There's enough in there to recover, and then when we're going with seed and Jack's Magic, that'll have the fertiliser in it as well. So we're good to go. We just need those temperatures to rise. So because that lawn's not been cut for 2 weeks because I've had COVID, to go on there straight with the scarifier would probably be a bit of a waste of time, because you would end up just chopping up all the grass that's giving us that length. So I'm going to go on it first with the hater, get rid of all that top growth, and then when we're going with the scarifier we can get deeper and not have to pick up as much clippings as we would do if we just went on now without cutting it. Hey, that looks spot on, that. But we have still got to go ahead with the scarifying. It'll be better for us in the long run, but if you haven't got a scarifier and this is the level you want to get to, then this is fine. You know, it's just one of them. It's whatever suits you and what your budget is and what goals you want to achieve. I want to achieve better than this, because I know I can do it. And it looks good from here, but when we walk over it, you know, like we start to see that there's quite a lot of moss. That's got to come out, because that will just regenerate, and that's why we get that out. So I'll go get the scarifier, give it a double pass, and then we'll set ourselves up nicely for when we want to seed. But honestly, my hands are numb because it is so cold. So I'll go get my scarifier and then we'll get that done. And hopefully get a bit of raking done, and that'll warm us up. So for those of you who have never seen this machine before, it's a scarifier, and this has got blades. Rather blunt blades, but blades nevertheless. So these go in and they rip out all the thatch. The difference between this and the spring kind of tines you get on the attachments is that they don't enter the soil really, they just scrape the surface, which is fine if that's all you've got, it'll do a job. But these just get deeper into the soil, slice through those roots, which will reinvigorate new growth, and create some little air channels and pockets for seed to sit in. So many more advantages to using the blades than the tines. But like I say, if that's all you've got, then it'll do the job. So we'll get this done, like I say, twice, rake it up, then we'll see how it looks after, give it a mow, and then we'll be ready here for seeding and top dressing once that weather improves. That's great, that. So, I'm nice and warm now. In fact, I'm absolutely boiling with all that raking. It's a good way to warm up. Get the mower on it now, get that growth even more down to the ground. And then, won't be today just because it's too windy, too cold. So we're waiting for that day where it's a bit stiller, a bit nicer. Because you really don't want to be spreading seed on a day like today, just because it'll blow everywhere and you won't be able to get it accurate like you would if it's a very still day. So it'll come, but for now today the objective was to scarify, and objective achieved. So we'll get on with that more now, and then we'll call this one done. So just over here, I was able to get a lot of it up with the scarifier. The moss that was here, it was just a thick blanket. And then I used the rake just to get even more off, and that's the good thing about those leaf rakes. You can just get a bit more of a key to the surface and get things off that the scarifier misses, or just where it's sunk a little bit and the blades don't reach, or in any of those hard to reach places. So I didn't mow that because I want to leave that open. I don't want to close all that nice tilthy soil up, because that'll be the perfect bed for some seed. That will probably do this lawn in compost for sure, but this area I'll probably end up doing with sand, the top dressing sand, and then we'll cover it over this area, just because it's so dark and so wet that compost, the seed will grow and it'll probably just rot away, just because it will just hold so much water. So we'll just do that area there with the sand and put a bit of fleece on it, just all the way along there. That kind of line there, we'll just fleece and out that along, but the rest we'll just do with Jack's Magic, and that'll be job done. So pleased with that. You can see the soil. It's always good when you can see the soil, because you know then you've kind of got rid of most of the moss, and then when it dries out, that'll just rot away. The birds will come down, take it for nests. So don't worry if you've still got quite a lot of moss left. You're just never going to get it all, unless you spend all day, all night, all week doing it, and you'll just end up with no lawn. You'll do more harm than good. So it's just par for the course, leaving a bit of moss down, because it will go once the grass starts growing and the temperatures rise. So that's it here for today. Plenty of things for you to get on with over the weekend. If you've not started your moss control yet, get on it. If you have and your weeds have died, get on with your scarifying, get ready, so that when the weather changes, we can get on with that seed and top dressing, compost, whatever your choice is, you can get on with it and get the party started. But for here, that's it. So we'll take care and we'll see you next time.